Greetings. This is Kurt Mold, Director of Digital Media Innovation and Strategy, with an update on the elementary classroom display project and recommendation before you for the February 26, 2024 board meeting. Just a brief introduction here. This is being presented to the board under the culture of operational excellence, especially under the finance goal, which is the prioritization of the investment of our resources to support the educational experiences in and out of the classroom, the student and staff physical environment, and the team serving our organizational mission. A brief history on how we got to this place and why the recommendation is before you tonight. Our smart boards in our kindergarten through fifth grade classrooms are far beyond their useful life. Many of them are 14 to 16 years old, and there are now limited options for repair or replacement. The smart boards at the 6th through 12th grade level were replaced through the 2019 referendum project, with West High School and PPA being outfitted first during construction, and East and our middle schools being outfitted in the following summer. Smart boards at our 6th kindergarten through 5th grade schools are being replaced beginning this spring break at Bird at Westside. You may recognize that I say 6 elementary schools and not 9. This is because Meadowview and Token Springs are 5 years old, and their classroom display technology is in fine working order and is well within its projected lifespan, and it is in no need of replacement. That leaves us with one elementary school, and a part of this plan was to conserve funds and be as responsible fiscally as possible with technology. And so, what we have decided to do is collect all of the smart boards that we've purchased as old smart boards have gone down. And so these are all smart boards that have all been replaced within the last 2 to 3 years. They're similar to the devices that are at Meadowview and Token Springs, so they're a much newer model. And we have enough of those smart boards throughout our system in our elementary schools that we could consolidate all of those together at one site. And so this summer, Creekside will receive all of the 2 to 3-year-old classroom smartboard displays that have been purchased throughout our district over the last 2 to 3 years, and the old smartboards will come down off of the walls. This makes a lot of sense from a Creekside perspective because the greatest number of smartboards that have been replaced at the elementary level has actually been at Creekside. And so it saves us time moving equipment around the district, and it allows us to offset the number of smartboards that we're actually seeking to replace across the system. That leaves our remaining 6 schools. And so Eastside Horizon, Northside, Royal Oaks, CH Bird, and Westside will be receiving new line displays. New line displays will be installed at Bird and Westside starting over spring break. Training will also be provided to staff to afford them the opportunity to understand how to use their new classroom technology. It's important to note that over the last several years, technology has, through conserved funds, been putting money aside into the long-term capital improvement fund, or Fund 46. And so the entire cost of this project is actually coming from the long-term capital improvement fund. And it's also important to note that the replacement of our kindergarten through 5th grade display technology is actually a part of an overall 12-year technology lifecycle replacement plan. So I'm going to dive a little bit into the project itself. This is just a screenshot of about 1/6 of the spreadsheet used to manage this project. And I want to say that this would not be possible without the tech department's diligent work over the last 7 years and the management and accurate recording of our assets. And so any piece of equipment that costs over $250 in our district that was purchased through technology funds is asset tagged and is managed within a large asset management system. That has allowed us to keep track of, understand the needs of the device in terms of its replacement, how often it needs to be repaired, who's asking for those repairs, how often wear and tear and damage is occurring over time. And so through that, we have been able to accurately track and inventory these needs. And so, a special shout out to Janelle Kellett, who is our district device asset manager, who has done a fabulous job in building this particular project. And another shout out to Wes Allensburg, who has gone with our technicians on all of the site visits to assess every single space. And so this is by no means a small project, and it's definitely cross-departmental in nature. What to know moving forward about this project? Just a recap here. Money for this project was from conserved technology budget funds kept in the long-term capital project fund. Installation will begin over spring break at Bird and Westside. The training for the staff is scheduled for Bird and Westside prior to installation. The recommended equipment before you tonight is the same equipment that was purchased for our 612 schools. So this is a consistent device across our system. So as teachers move from level to level, as substitutes interact across our building, it's really important that we have as many consistent and common platforms as possible. And the recommendation before you tonight is for the purchase of 200 new line displays, 127 carts, for a cost not to exceed $450,000. Again, this is a large project with a lot of moving parts. I'd be happy to entertain any questions that you have. Feel free to reach out to me prior to the board meeting, or I will be happy to field your questions during the meeting itself. With that, take care. Thank you.